Hi everyone, and welcome to a new episode of Day in the Future. Today we're talking about how innovation starts with social innovation. And we're doing that together with the CEO of the Social Incubator, an organization that helps vulnerable orphaned youth across Romania by providing social, educational, and professional development opportunities to help children as they transition out of institutional care. She joined the organization in 2015 when it was founded and has served as its CEO since 2017. She helped grow the organization from 5 people to over 50. She developed new corporate partnerships with Coca-Cola, IKEA, Vodafone, and many others, and implemented over 50 projects to prevent human trafficking, domestic violence, and to provide job skills and psychosocial resilience. She's also participated in the Oxford Executive Leadership Program and in the Obama Scholars Program in the US. And today we have the opportunity to learn what social innovation is. Really happy to have her with us today, and let's see what we're going to find out about the precursor to innovation, social innovation. Adriana, welcome to A Day in the Future, and thank you for joining us today. So, just to start with what matters usually when trying to change the world or trying to change small parts of the world. What's your why, and what gives you energy in what you do?
Hi, first of all, hi, and thank you so much for the invitation. I'm very happy and honored to be with you today and talking about social innovation and change making. You were talking about changing the world. I think that's a big task to take on, but I think we are all responsible in some way to change the realities that we want to be changed. So for me, my why, as a very dedicated social change maker, my why is rooted in a profound belief that meaningful change is possible, and you can do whatever it takes to change those realities that you want to be changed. And I'm driven by a vision in which young people have equal opportunities, in which inequalities are dismantled, and where communities thrive through collaboration and sustainable solutions. What gives me the energy to do what I do is just witnessing the lives that I've changed, hearing the stories of the beneficiaries we touched with our work, seeing the communities that were changed through our solutions. So somehow that gives me energy, that gives me the drive to go forward. And also, I am a person that likes challenges, so I like puzzles, and I think the world is like a puzzle in which each piece matters and each piece contributes, and we all have to be part of changing the world and changing the way we see things to make our society and our community more just, more inclusive, and safer.
What are some of the latest projects, persons, or organizations that have inspired you and energized you in what you do?
Well, I take my inspiration from a lot of organizations, but I think I'm most inspired by people. First of all, I'm inspired by their stories and by their power of overcoming their challenges. I think the first person that inspired me, and she's a very big part of what I'm doing today and part of my mission, is my mother. She is an abandoned child. She was abandoned by both of her parents. She grew up in the foster care system. So I have this deep understanding of how people with no opportunities or very low opportunities can thrive only if they have a context in which they're offered trust and in which you can create the sense of belonging. So my mother was my first inspiration and the reason of my mission and the reason of my work. And then being in this area, I've met people, for example, the founders that that founded the Social Incubator, they were 5 friends that just decided to make a change in Romania. They were doing a lot of volunteering through the years. They were going in orphanages, and they were going in centers for elderly people. And then they saw that this punctual volunteering only on Christmas and on Easter, it's not enough. So they decided to make a more lasting, sustainable impact in their lives. And that's how they ended up founding the Social Incubator and gave me the opportunity to be part of this movement, because I want to call it a movement. And I was very inspired by their story. Throughout my, and I'm talking now about how, they shaped the leader I am today, and these people shaped who I am and what I do. But throughout my work, of course, I've looked with admiration to many organizations, and there are the big organizations, international NGOs that did a lot of great work, but also you have local organizations, not only in Romania, but throughout the world, throughout Europe. You have a lot of businesses that did social work, and that was inspiring. We're talking about innovation today, and I don't think innovation is all just about creating new concepts, ideas, solutions. I think innovation is also taking an idea that is out there and make it better, or adapt it to another group, another target, another country. So I did that a lot. So I researched the market, I researched for solutions, and I took them and integrated in our work. I hope that answers somehow your question.
So is social innovation that is taken to a whole new level so that it can have an impact in the wider society, or is it something that starts from a different place, from a different problem, so that you innovate in the society from a different perspective? So how do you see innovation? I mean, those are two perspectives that I can see right now, but probably maybe it's in between. Maybe you tell me how you see it.
Sure. Well, for me, social innovation refers to the development and implementation of new ideas and strategies and concepts and organizations, as you said, that meet social needs and create new social relationship or collaboration. Through social innovation, you need to find those innovative solutions to meet societal challenges. So, as you said, innovation is a large concept, but when you talk about social innovation, you have in mind the community, you have in mind the final beneficiary, you have in mind that social challenge that needs to be addressed and that needs a solution that can, help solve, or just not solve in many cases, but tackle the problem you're addressing or you're facing. Now, social innovation, in my view, is different from innovation in terms of purpose, in terms of impact, in terms of target audience, in terms of different contexts in which it happens. And social innovation, it's very important to address this. Social innovation doesn't happen only in organization, in nonprofits and civil society. So social innovation can be in governments, can be in the private sector, can be everywhere where there's a problem and there's a challenge to be solved. So it's a very wide concept. We have a lot of discussions on this subject, of course, because we're social change makers and we need to find solutions to all the pressing and challenging problems we have. But most often we talk a lot, when we talk about social innovation, when we talk about innovation in general, we talk also about sustainability, because social innovation is closely linked to sustainability, because it seeks to address social challenges and create positive social change in a way that is environmentally and socially and economically sustainable. So these concepts are somehow interrelated, and I think we should look at them from this perspective, like a trio, if you want.
Just so I try to compare it with the innovation framework that takes place when it comes to the markets. So, so basically, there is usually a problem that needs to be solved for a specific market group, market segment, or so on. There are many alternatives that can solve the problem on the market, and when innovation takes place is when a new solution solves that problem in a better way, new way, so that the value that it brings in solving the problem is significantly higher than the current existing alternatives. So in this framework, how would you include the social aspect of it? Because it moves from market needs to uh, societal needs. Like it's way bigger.
You gave a great definition of innovation, but you said something that we would like to focus on. You said market needs, right? So most of the time, innovation, or the last goal of innovation, is profit, right? People create innovation, or people innovate in order to develop new goods, new services, with the ultimate goal of making profit. When you talk about social innovation, your final goal is to address and to solve that social need. And when I told you innovation can be in many sectors, but the difference between the private sector, which innovates a lot, whereas civil society and governments do not, the difference is that the private sector does this on a regular basis, right? They have innovation labs, they have innovation departments, they invest resources and money into innovation. Whereas civil society and governments usually innovate when there's a crisis. They try to find new solutions when the situation or the context, it's in its nature, needs innovation. Look at what happened with COVID, look at what happened with climate change. I think there is a big difference that we need to look on.
You were saying about profit, and I think that profit is the simplest form of quantifying value, because like money is exchange of value, and that's why it has been a bit more simpler to innovate in markets. When it comes to innovating at a broader level, I find that one challenge is quantifying value and impact when innovating there. I mean, that's the challenge that I found. It's not that it's not there, it is. You feel it. You can certainly feel the impact that it has. Um, but how would you quantify the value added and get that's gotten in return by the ones innovating? Like it's not profit, it's something else. How do you measure it?
You said again something very important, and I want to add on that. You said that innovation in businesses, so that innovation happens in a general way on the market and bring not only profit but also value to the consumer. You need to invest money. So money is a big aspect of innovation, and of course the measurement in private businesses and in the corporate world, it's very simple. The people buy or do not buy your product or your service. Whereas social innovation is so much harder to measure. It's so much, we as social makers, and this happens throughout civil society, right? Throughout all the organizations, impact, measurement, and evaluation are very important. Why? Because it's not only quantitative. It's very simple to know my social innovation addresses poverty, right? And people that do not have food. So you can simply measure the number of people that were touched by your intervention. And that quantitative measure is easy. But we are talking about impact. We are talking about sustainability. We are talking about long-term changes. And that is very difficult to measure, because you want to measure positive change. You want to measure the change in behavior, and those metrics, well, we don't have the answer to that. I think it's something that we work a lot on, and what you can see, and I think it's easier to measure. It's a hard word to see. It's the changes in the lives of the people you touch by your intervention. So in my case, the organization I was coordinating before coming to New York, the Social Incubator, we were measuring how the lives of the teenagers or the adults that we were helping changed over 3 years, right? So we had their profile when they came to the organization and when we started the intervention, and then we had some metrics to see how they changed on different levels: educational, professional, and personal. But those again are very subjective. And what I want to add on that is that maybe for one of the beneficiaries, a big change was him going to psychotherapy sessions, right? Because he was coming from a very traumatic experience and he didn't have this mental and psychological and emotional support. So just agreeing to go to psychological counseling sessions, it was a very big change for us. But for others, for example, that came from the streets and that lived on the streets for 2 years, a big change was providing a job and a place to sleep. So this is more challenging than I think usual innovation to measure, but it also makes our work worth it. I think.
Yeah, I believe that those answers are there, and it's you can feel them without needing to see them. What I see as we move forward, the more clear those metrics are, the more the pace will accelerate, and it's happening already. And it's now that I've talked about this, what are some of the earliest examples of social innovation that you see, like in history? Like, what's something that crosses your mind?
There are a lot of examples of innovation early on, and there are a lot of social innovation that happened today. I would like to talk about one of the first books I read. It was on social innovation. It was the book of Muhammad Yunus. He is an extraordinary man that pioneered microcredit in Bangladesh. And I am so grateful and honored. I had the opportunity to meet him here in New York. And I had the opportunity to just shake his hand and tell him how he changed my life. And I also told him his name is the password of my computer, but don't tell anybody that. And he did, with very few resources, he wanted to empower women, right, to have money and to be entrepreneurs. So he thought about innovative ways in which he can help them without making them being dependent on money. So he pioneered this microcredit idea, and it helped thousands, hundreds of thousands of people in Bangladesh. What I wanted to share, he told us when we met him, he said that it was very, very powerful. He said that each and one of us is responsible of thinking how we can make the life of others better, and that we should not be encapsulated in these limits that the society puts, or the government, or the communities we live in, and that we should put ourselves out there and think how we can make lives better. So the Grameen Bank, it's a very early and very dear example for me. But then we have examples, for example, in the United States, we had Sesame Street, which revolutionized children's television, combining education and entertainment. We have the idea developed by Maria Montessori. Now the Montessori method is used all over the world. It has this innovative approach to education that has influenced schools worldwide.
Can you share a bit more on this specific subject, the Montessori method?
Sure. Maria Montessori was very focused on transforming education, and she was looking outside the formal context of education. She wanted to help children learn by being independent and by having this hands-on experience, and all the learning and all the things that she thought of, it was child-centered learning, right? So you have the child and you need to make him independent, and you need to make him understand why is he learning what he's learning, and how he can use everything that he's learning in all the aspects of his life, his or her life. It's not just in school. I don't have children. I don't have yet children, so I don't really know how that works very profoundly, but that was a very revolutionary, innovative approach that now is used everywhere. You said in the beginning that also organizations innovate, right? So we have, I want to give the example of Habitat for Humanity that invented this model of sweet equity for people that had trouble with housing problems. So now Habitat for Humanity is an organization worldwide. Again, social innovation is not only in civil society. Social innovation, it's a little bit debatable. Some people do not agree with this, but I think also Ford, when he launched the T4 model, did an innovation, right? Because he provided access and increased mobility to people that lived and worked and didn't have access to that. So a lot of examples in many domains that we can learn from and we can watch.
So the one for Habitat for Humanity, like, what's a use case that they've did in innovating? Like, they provide part of the credit in buying house. Like, that's what my mind goes to, but I suppose it might be something else.
Habitat for Humanity, the main idea was addressing housing issues to this model of sweet equity. What that means is that people in poverty that did not have a proper place to live in were offered a housing solution that was subsidized somehow financially, but also what was innovative in their work. They were husband and wife, the Muller family. They involved the community. They involved volunteers. They were fostering community engagement and home ownership through this collective effort of providing housing to people. So I think not the idea of providing housing was that innovative, but how they involved the community, how they fostered the collective effort in order to offer these solutions. The innovation for me is there.
Okay, so it's about growing an integrated community, so it's not a segregated one when people start to grow together and innovating in that.
Just to add on that, it makes you also think, so if, we are people that do not face poverty, we are people that do not face inequalities. And when you come in a community in which you work side by side with people to offer something that you have it already and you take it for granted, it makes a change in your behavior as well, right? It's not only about the people you help and the beneficiaries, it's also about you as part of a collective, part of a community and society. It makes you think, am I doing enough for my community? Am I changing the things that need to be changed? So it's a great example of social innovation.
What are the most representative examples of today when it comes to social innovation? In what fields, in what domains of activity, what comes to mind?
As I told you, part of my work was researching innovative ideas and try to learn from them and try to, if I could, bring them to my organization and to my work and adapt them. We also had some social innovation in our work that I'm going to tell you more about later. I would like to share, for example, in this program I'm in, the Obama Scholars, we're 12 people from all around the world. And within these 12 people, I have 2 scholars that did this great innovation that was unique. at the time they were thinking about it. So, for example, my colleague Samson, he's from Uganda, and he wanted to provide access to education to children from remote areas, from very marginalized and disadvantaged areas. But of course, they did not have access to smartphones or laptops in order to have the education, and they could not go to proper schools. So he thought about a method in which he teaches through his organization, EA Solution. He teaches the children from remote areas through radio, through keypad telephones, and they have this interactive learning sessions with professors through radio. But also what's innovative in my view is that they're not teaching formal education. They're teaching the children to be innovators. They're teaching problem solving. They're teaching innovation to them. They're teaching decision making, so that these teenagers develop their mindset and try to find themselves solutions to problems that are within their community. So for me, knowing him and knowing his work, it's impressive. And also, I have another colleague, Vincent from France. He developed this idea of a social platform that streamlines the donation process for nonprofits. For example, his innovative fundraising model is that he invites young people to watch an online advertisement from a brand partner and transforms the revenue into donations, which didn't happen before. And he made millions of dollars for a lot of nonprofits around the world. So I hope they see that I talked about them today. If we look at other models, today we have, and these were in NGO, but you have a lot of examples like Wikipedia, which is a crowdsourced online platform. It was innovative and it helped people around the world use it and being informed. And then you have companies. There is a company in the US, the Tom's Shoes. They, for example, had this approach, buy one, get one, in which every purchase, you went there, purchased a pair of shoes, and they automatically donated another pair of shoes for people that did not afford. Also I think they're based in the US, Patagonia. They're very famous right now because they try to revolutionize the fashion industry, and they conduct a lot of research on the impact of microplastics. And it's a private business that invests a lot of resources and money in innovation. You have Uber and Airbnb, which is based on shared economy, again, where people and individuals can have this one-on-one interactions and can afford at reasonable prices their services. You have crowdsourcing platform and crowdfunding platforms that you didn't have before. So I think the market is full of innovation and social innovation.
From the examples that you've gone through, like the first one, I feel like that's the one that I just felt how it's representative for social innovation, because as you were saying, social innovation in the end creates innovation, because it creates the people that have the capability of innovating, but maybe they don't have the framework, they don't have the right opportunity to do it. So when you innovate in that sense, you are actually catalyzing innovation in its end form. So it's a precursor to everything that comes to it. Interesting.
It's a precursor. And also think about communicating through radio by itself. It's not an innovation. Communicating through radio to address this issue of education in remote areas in Uganda, it's by itself an innovation. So you can go both ways, as you said. You can look at innovation and adapt it and address social need, or you can look at the social need and think how and in which ways you can address it and then innovate. So I think it's a interdependent relationship.
I agree. Well, but when it comes to challenges in social innovation, or blockers, or things that just make it hard to do social innovation, what are some of the things that you would pinpoint, especially now?
Yeah, unfortunately there are a lot of barriers and there are a lot of challenges in fostering innovation. I think the biggest one is access to funding and access to resources, because if you have limited funding, you cannot hinder the development and you cannot scale up the innovation. You need money for research, you need money to prototype, you need money to scale, right? So funding and resources would be one. Then you have the regulatory framework. So if you don't have legal provisions or a legal framework in which you can innovate, or which not can but foster innovation, that can be challenging to implement new solutions. Institutions sometimes and governments can resist, so you find resistance on their behalf because well, because of different reasons. I don't want to get into political issues now, but that could be one. But also, societal resistance. People, communities, societies can resist innovation, can resist change because they're afraid, because they don't trust the solution. So I think these four would be the most important in my opinion.
And if you look at the flip side, right now, what accelerates social innovation? What makes it easier to happen?
First and foremost, I think the most important in accelerating social innovation is the idea of collaboration. It's not just about the civil society that needs to find innovative solutions for social challenges. It needs to be a collaboration within the governments, the civil society, and the private businesses. So this is an accelerator, and it happens more and more, which is very good to hear. You then have technology, and I know there are a lot of debates on how technology can destroy or interfere with democracy even, or with us and human rights and us as human beings. But I think technology, if it's used in a transparent and responsible way, can advance social innovation. And we have so many examples on how technology changed lives on different levels, not only financial or from a informative point of view. What is happening now, and it didn't happen before, is awareness and advocacy. These advocacy and awareness efforts can generate public support, and therefore can bring money, resources, and of course the framework from institutions to foster innovation.
Why do you think this is happening now? Like, why do you think this is right now providing much more to the efforts of innovating when it comes to society than it has 30 years before? Like, what do you think has changed? Like, what's the driver of that?
First of all, we all have access to information. So now people all around the world understand the necessity of making positive change. Why? Because everybody knows the problems with climate change, with reducing inequalities, with corrupt governments, with health issues. So education, of course, poverty, everybody knows about these problems. So they're more open now to listening to solutions, or what we should do in order to solve these social problems that affect us all. And also, I think what increased a lot over the last years, 10, 20 years, is the level of individual responsibility. People are not ignorant anymore to what's happening, not only in their community, but what's happening in the world. You see change in their behavior when purchasing goods and services. Now you see more and more people that go with companies that are socially responsible, which didn't happen before. Right now, ESG, ECG has a very pivotal, crucial role in developing companies. Now you have a younger generation that volunteers, much more than they did before. You have a lot of organizations on the market, non-profit, for-profit organizations that advocate for change. So a lot of things have happened in the last years that enabled the people to be more receptive to what we have to say, and to be more receptive to the idea of innovation in social fields.
Mm-hmm. So mentality has changed a lot over the last years. And I'll ask you again, why do you think that happened? Like,
Because you cannot ignore what's happening. You cannot, and it's not just because it happens in front of your eyes. And we live now in a world that is divided by wars, that is divided by social inequalities. It's very very difficult to live nowadays, and mentality has changed because of this as well. But I would, I worked a lot with mental health and psychological issues, and I think it's also, I don't want to say it's selfish, but I think in some way we understand that if we don't do the changes, they will eventually affect us also. We cannot live anymore in our bubble, in our house, in our home, in our town, without being affected by what's happening next door, or in the next city, or in the country. We are affected now in the present, and affected really, really bad by what's happening at a national level and also global level.
just so I can take it further and in more specificity, what are the technologies that right now impact the most social innovation? Like if you think about AI, blockchain, anything else, like robotics, like what would come to mind as some new advancements in technology that are positively impacting society?
I don't know a lot of things about blockchains. I will I will be very honest with that. But I studied AI a lot, and not just the there are a lot of solutions nowadays that address issues that before you wouldn't think that they could. So, for example, there are now some AI models that they offer emotional support and psychological support. They have this data that provides accessible mental health resources and intervention, and we know that psychological counseling and mental health support, it's not cheap, and not everybody can afford it. So they use technology in the sense. They have it's an example, I think, here in the United States with virtual reality. They are using it for PTSD patients. They use it mostly in military veterans or military people to control the environment they were in and help them manage traumatic experiences. So this was done by professionals, by people, and now it's done by VR. And also, to apply it to my work, we had an exchange experience in Dublin when they used VR with students and pupils to help them understand different jobs and professions. So they used the virtual reality and augmented reality for them to better understand a job. Architect, I don't know, financial controller. They had a lot of options. So that that's excellent. And then you have the open data, right? And people that can use as a collaborative way to contribute and access data freely, which didn't happen before. And it's amazing. And I would like to share, for example, an example of ours in which we use technology and it was exceeded our expectations. In 2020, no, when was COVID? Yeah, I think 2020. It was a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of funds, we are a non-profit, right? And a lot of funds were redirected to health issues, of course, because that was the main issue, not only in Romania, but all over the world. So we had a lot of beneficiaries that we were working with, and we were afraid that we won't have funds to help them anymore. So what we did then was to look at the problems, because COVID did not, it was a health issue, of course, but it affected society on different levels. So we were looking at the problems caused by COVID, and we saw that in Romania, almost 1 million people lost their jobs. So our expertise was in workforce development, workforce integration, and we said we can try to find a solution to that. But then they were all adults and they were all around Romania. So we thought, we had a lot of research and a lot of teams working on it, and we work with our partner, Coca-Cola HBC Romania, and we developed this innovative platform, which was used for them to access resources to do professional reconversion. So they had online video content and lessons. They had the CV builder. They had a lot of legal information on how they can find a job in the professions that were currently open in Romania. And also we did, and that was the first time in Romania, we did job aggregation, job offerings aggregation. So we had this search engine that you could find jobs from both private and public sector. And for us, it was, of course, we worked a lot, and we knew that it will help people, but it helped thousands of people find job then, right? And the platform, it's called Lucrez din nou, I Work Again. It received a lot of awards, and it's just an example of how technology can, just diminish barriers geographically, also emotionally. They had, people when losing their job, they had also problems at a mental health level. So we offer that as well through the platform. If technology can be a very powerful tool if we use it responsibly and properly.
So, from what we've discussed up until now, I see that social innovation is innovation. Like, it's innovation, but it goes a bit beyond that, in that it positively impacts society. I mean, I think that's what everyone pretty much says, but I'm happy that I got to really understand that better going through all these examples. And looking forward at perspectives for the future, 5, 10, 20 years from now, how do you see it evolving? Like the current challenges in social innovation, how are they going to be overcome, if they're going to be overcome, and what other potential areas will open up for social innovation?
That's a very, very challenging question, and I would like to have the answer to that, because I could be, in front of everybody in thinking about innovative solutions, and I would love to do that. I think the future holds for us a society in which social innovation is defined by inclusive technological adoption. We were talking about how technology is crucial in innovation and social innovation. Also, when we talk about the future in social innovation, we need to talk about sustainable communities, and promoting eco-friendly practices, circular economies, responsible consumption. We have one world, and we need to take care of it. Because I come from the field, I want to think about empowered education. And I gave some examples of how education was transformed by social innovation ideas. And I think education should emphasize personalized, inclusive, and very important technology-based solutions. And that could happen. We understand now that the only way in changing the world is it's through collective efforts. So I think global collaboration will be very important in the future, and for innovation and social innovation, civic engagement, and very inclusive economical models. economical models that are driven by innovation and that promote social cohesion and health and well-being, right? Mental health is becoming more and more important. So I think that would be it. Yeah.
In the current program at Obama Scholars, there are many social innovators that together, I believe, are discussing many ideas regarding the future of social innovation. It's with a really international footprint. Like, as much as you can share, what could you share with us regarding those ideas?
The debates are very interesting because, as you said, there's a global perspective. We come from all around the world. We come from South America, we come from Africa, from Europe, from Asia. So the debates are somehow, we all provided local solutions. And I gave some examples on how these local solutions were innovative and helped the people in the community. And now it's a discussion on how we can take our local solution and see the market and research for other solutions all around the world and find ideas and concepts on solving global issues. And I think this is a task that is very difficult and challenging, and it cannot be done by 12 people in 1 year. But what I think is very important is that we're exposed to different people from different areas, with different abilities and competences, and each and one of us can take some knowledge and try to think about innovative ways of making the change they want to make. So, for example, I cannot talk on behalf of my colleagues, I can talk on my behalf. Now I'm thinking back in Romania, through the Social Incubator, we addressed the consequences, right, of discrimination, of poverty, of inequalities, and we'll keep doing that. But now I'm looking to shift and address the causes of inequality and not only the consequences. And to do so, you need to have a broader perspective and look how your solution can help not only teenagers in Romania or children in Uganda. Your solution can be replicated and scaled to a global level. And these are the conversations, and this is something on my mind as well. And I just hope I'll find the answer before the program ends. We'll see.
Well, when it comes to Romania, then where do you see that we need to, we need to pay attention in all areas? But if you were to, yeah, what needs a lot of focus, and it needs it now, and it needs it especially for the next few years in order for Romania to be a nourishing environment, a country that creates innovation, because innovation is made, from what we've discussed until now, first and foremost through social innovation. Like, what do we need to do in order to be able to create that?
A nourishing country, I don't know if that's possible in the next 10, 20, 30 years. I hope, and me and you work on that, right? So let's see, let's be hopeful. What do we need? I think, first of all, we need the people to believe that change can happen, for people to understand that they cannot be passive, they need to be active in making the change they want to change. And that doesn't have to be, the big issue. It can be done within your neighborhood, within your community, within your town. So people, first and foremost, to change their mentality, and it's happening. It's happening. I'm very happy with that. I saw this in my last. I worked 9 years with the Social Incubator, and I saw this change of mindset in the people at an individual level, and I saw this mindset change in the people that were working for big companies, so that, because companies are made out of people, and the companies came also. What I think is extremely important is that our government will foster innovation and will create spaces to debate ideas and to create innovative solutions for these problems. Now, if you told me to choose some of them, unfortunately, and this is something I had a lot of presentations about Romania and about the social problems in Romania here, also at the university and in front of very important people. And unfortunately, we have so many social problems. We have problems related to poverty. We have problems related to corruption, education, integration. And there is not one solution for all of them, but there are many different small solutions and many different people that want to tackle them. And I trust us so much to do that, because I've met so many intelligent people, and you had also on your on your podcast a lot of Romanians that did amazing work all around the world. So I think we can. We just need to realize we need to be the faces of change, and that we cannot do the change alone. We need to do it together. And if we do it together, we'll not be nourishing, I think, but we'll be definitely a better country and a better society, and we'll be much happier.
I for one see more and more evidence of that happening as days pass, like especially in, like, if you are to look at Romania in 2000 and look at it now, when it comes to where it has, like, what it has achieved, like even in terms of corruption. You were mentioning corruption and integration, and I see that growth is there in the right direction. In, like, we are making good steps. Now we need to sustain those steps, and those are sustained through the mindset and the mentality uh, that everyone has when it comes to doing good and meeting inspiring people that inspire you to do better and better. And I think, like, there are many more people that are popping up each day, so that's good.
I agree 100% with you. And I think, although we're not a small country, but we're a country that not many people know about, I think we have so much energy and so much power and so many extraordinary individuals, and we can make it. We just need to find a way in which we can make it together.
Yeah, well, that's that's the only way I see it, but yeah. um okay, now, so we get to the main the main point of the podcast. What does a day in the future look like for you? And we can, like, think about Romania in 30 years from now, think about the world in 30 years from now, or how many years you want, like in the far distant future, in a world where things happen the right way, not the right way, because there's no right way, but happen they happen in a positive way. So it's not a zero sum game, it's a positive game for everyone living on this beautiful world of ours. How is social innovation impacting the world, or how is social innovation part of the world in that distant future, day in the future?
Maybe it will sound like a utopia, but it can be my future, right? So I envision the future as I want. It doesn't have to be real. Okay.
Exactly. It's your perspective. It's your
It's my
perspective.
future, and it's my intention and my desire. I think social innovation should be the center of everything that we do. I think it should be the focus of governments, of civil society, of private businesses. I think it should be a collective effort based on collaboration. No, I think I will talk. It is, because it's my future. So it's
Exactly.
yeah, it's my future, and it's based on all of these. And it's a safe space where innovation is fostered, where technology is used responsibly and it's inclusive, where we focus on community well-being, where education is, everybody has access to education, and technology is a big part of education, and whereas civic engagement is something that defines us all. So we understand we're part of this country and this world, and as Muhammad Yunus said and invited us, whatever we decide to do with our lives, we should have a part in ourselves that understands that our mission in this world is also helping those who cannot help themselves, and hearing the voices that are unheard. So my future is like this. My future is a place in which we all have this ultimate mission of just helping each other. And I think that would be a more just and inclusive and happy world.
It is an utopia, but I think fiction fiction sometimes, if not most of the times, like there's this, especially in Romanian, this saying that life beats movies, you know? And I believe it is possible. I really do.
Dreams are free, Catalin. We can dream of anything. So I invite you to dream with me. Yeah.
For that future to happen, what do you think we should act on now? Or what's your small piece of advice regarding how we should act now? How we should act? How should we look at the way we act now for that positive some future to take place? Because it starts with today.
Yeah. It starts with today. And I have a professor here at Columbia University that always tells us, find a change that is small enough to make it happen, but big enough to matter. And I think this is a very powerful advice. So I would build on that, and I would say, if there's something that you can do today for the future I envisioned, although it's a utopia, that should be find a reality that you want to be changed and change it, whatever that is, however small or big it is, how many resources it involves in energy. Do it, because nobody else can do it for you. And if you feel triggered by unfairness and inequality, and any cause, it can be any cause, it can relate to children, to animals, to elderly people, any cause, just be the promoter of the change you want to see in your community, in Romania, and in the world.
So I was asking you, how should we act on, like, it's just act. Be the change you want to see in the world. That's it.
Yeah, I think I gave some good examples of how these things, like through collaboration and through including technology in our work, and in creating safe space, and in focusing on mental health, right? Because we cannot do good if we're not good with ourselves, and civic engagement. And there are some methods that are operational, but at the end of the day, everything reduces to this thing. You need to be the change you want to see. You need to work and act, because nobody will do it for you. So, and we were talking, just to add on that, I'm sorry, we were talking about innovation and so many models in the past and the present. Just look at them and try to build upon that, and maybe you will be a social innovator by yourself.
Yeah, I think the fuel comes when you see that the change that you're trying to make in the world, and you're making it, and you see parts of it in the reality. Now, when you see other people with the same purpose, uh, working towards the same change, and seeing them succeed in that purpose, that's what for me, for example, just changes my day. It's it's priceless. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you for this crash course on social innovation. Like in less than an hour, you made me understand it at such a deep level that yeah, I truly appreciate it. Um, Thank you for the time. And if you want to share anything else with our audience, please do so.
Thank you for inviting me, and thank you for trusting me to talk about this issue that is very dear to my heart. I maybe for the people that were watching and are interested in this subject, are interested in this program, are interested in my work back home or my future work as a social innovator, hopefully. I'm open anytime to discuss, to talk, to help. So I'm on all social media platforms. I'm open to constructive discussions and debates, and looking forward to them. So thank you very much, Katarina. It was a pleasure. It was a good exercise for me as well, to think about this utopia. And let's talk in 10 years in our nourishing Romania and see where we are.
Looking forward to it, and I think we're gonna have some milestones to touch base until then.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Wonderful discussion that we had today.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in today, and hope you got a better understanding of what social innovation is and how it affects the way we live our lives. I definitely did so, and now it's much clearer that any type of innovation starts with social innovation, because in the end it's about the people and the innovators that are making change happen. So just as Adriana said, be the change that you want to see in the world. And for many more episodes with innovators around the world, like and subscribe. You can tune in on Spotify, see us on YouTube, and follow us on Instagram. So keep close.